All right, so here we go. We got a lot going on today around CD Projekt RED, Cyberpunk. So guess what? Former Cyberpunk developers are making what they are calling a truly next-gen Unreal Engine 5 dark fantasy RPG game. And that definitely sounds cool and has me fascinated. But there's also brand new concept art from this new studio showing off what to expect from their game. We'll dive into that concept art because there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in that artwork. Plus, on the side of Cyberpunk directly, we have a new VR experience that just released for PC. This is really cool. I'll let you guys know more about that. And we're going to be talking about what the community wants pretty much immediately after patch 1.5, what you guys are expecting from the future of Cyberpunk. A lot of great ideas, so please keep those ideas rolling in. I really believe CD Projekt RED is really in tune to the community right now about that sort of thing. But anyway, let's talk about this next-gen Unreal Engine 5 dark fantasy RPG. So yeah, a new studio has been formed by former CD Projekt RED developers, but this is where the story starts. Check this out. It says Witcher 3 director leaves CD Projekt RED in response to bullying allegations. The director of The Witcher 3, Konrad Tomaskewicz, announced his resignation from CD Projekt following an investigations into allegations of bullying. So it seems like he did not exactly leave, in my opinion, from that headline on good terms at all with CD Projekt RED. But he still was like, screw it, you know what? I'm going to do game development and I'm going to form my own studio. Check it out right here. It says former CD Projekt RED developers announced new studio Rebel Wolves working on dark fantasy RPG, and he managed to get, I believe, several people from CD Projekt to follow him on this brand new endeavor. So we don't really, in my opinion, we really don't know the full story as to what is going on here. But let's talk about this brand new dark fantasy RPG game. It's going to be running on the Unreal Engine 5, so I'm super hyped about that. That is absolutely the most amazing engine. We've seen demonstrations with the Matrix and things like that. But here's the actual concept art. Right here. Actually, let me make that bigger for you all. Right here. This looks really interesting. Definitely has this medieval fantasy appeal to it. You could see he's using a spear. He is bloodied, but he has like a wave of bats following him down this cliffside. And the movement here is interesting to me. I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing extensive movement system in this game, more parkour stuff. But yeah, I am so curious to see what they are developing here. With this game, I don't know if it's going to be full-blown open world, but it sounds like they're going after the AAA experience. So my assessment, my speculation there is that's what they kind of want to do. We'll have to wait and see for further confirmations about that one. But let's dive into more details about this. It goes on to say here, a former CD Projekt RED game director has formed a brand new studio with the aim to create a truly next-gen RPG. Konrad Tomaskewicz, who was game director on The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and head of production on Cyberpunk, has formed a new pack of developers for startup studio Rebel Wolves. The studio will be based in Warsaw, Poland, but allowed for remote workers as well. Furthermore, it goes on to say this right here. It says Konrad wishes to create a dark fantasy CRPG in Unreal Engine 5 and makes it clear he'll be doing things differently at Rebel Wolves compared to his previous company. You know, perhaps that's telling that he has learned some things from the bully allegations or something like that. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Now it says this, he'll look for a fresher approach to making games and ensure a considerate treatment for his staff as they create this new project. In an official statement, Rebel Wolves CEO excitedly details the vision for his studio. He goes on to say the following right here. For all of us here at Rebel Wolves, video games were always something we felt destined to do, something ingrained in our DNA. Personally, I couldn't be happier to have banded together with friends who share this passion. We're developing a video game we'd like to play in a way that games should be made. We want to evolve the CRPG genre by creating unforgeable, stories and stirring deep emotions, all while working as a tightly knit team united by a shared goal and ambition. Can they pull it off? That's going to be the big question right there. Now, it says, collectively, we envision Rebel Wolves as a place where experienced game developers can reignite their passion, where they can focus on their craft and pour their love into an amazing, ambitious title. We want to stay small and agile, a place where people know and care for each other. You know, we've seen that happen time and time again, where studios kind of disembark from the big publishers and things like that, and go on their own way, and they can still make successful games. And one studio that I always think of that did this was Hello Games. They made No Man's Sky, yes, had a rough launch, but look at it now. And they've managed, I guess, to maintain a smaller studio structure, which is really, really impressive. Now we have more from narrative director here, who goes on to say this: in order to create truly great games, we won't chase trends or numbers. Our goal is clearly defined: to create memorable games, tell moving stories, and evoke visceral emotions. It's ambitious, true. And I'm glad it is. Art needs ambition. I don't want to create another game. I want to work on titles people will remember. Wow, that sounds really cool to me. It says, with such a high pedigree in the camp and a positive worker-focused outlook, it will be exciting to see what the studio produces. Absolutely agree with that statement right there. We'll see what happens, see if they can pull it together. Crunch time is always a concern with any game that anyone develops, but having a more small, intimate team and having like friendships and things like that could potentially really help the morale of, the team make a great game. But anyway, I'm going to keep you guys updated about that one for sure in the future. But what about Cyberpunk 2077 directly? So we have this right here. We have a new mod that lets you play Cyberpunk in VR. But of course, you will need a real beefy PC to run it for sure. Of course, you can tone back those settings, which actually Strange is recommended with this mod, to tone back those settings with the mod, because I guess it makes it look better and run smoother in VR. But anyway, yeah, this one comes from Luke Ross, and it's finally out. He's done some really cool VR stuff. I'm trying to get it working on my end. I'll try again today, but I am struggling to get it to run for some weird reason. It's not recognizing my Oculus. I'm doing every step properly, I believe, but yeah, we'll see if I can get it working. I would love to try to showcase it for you all. But let me know how many of you actually are interested with VR with Cyberpunk. Be cool to see it in an official way, but that takes time and resources, and that's a whole other story. All right, so we have a list of features here that were gathered up by, let's see his name right here. It is Simbaka YouTube. He says, a list of features that the community would love to see added into the future of Cyberpunk 2077. So let me first of all start off. I'm a huge fan of this game and want to see this game succeed and progress in the future. I decided to document stuff the community here and over at Low Sodium Cyberpunk have talked about what they would like to see in the game's future. So we're going to scroll on down and check out this list. I'm going to go over, because look at this list. It's absolutely massive. Tons of work here. So kudos to him for putting this together. I'm going to highlight some of my favorites. We're going to go through it, but yeah, a lot of stuff I would love to see. It says interactive bars and restaurants, interaction with a lot of benches and chairs around the city, more NPC interactions, more in-depth weapon customization. This right here, I got to say, is something I would love to see. Also, further car customization. I personally think those are the two things they should tackle big time, according to like free DLC. When it comes to free stuff, especially, that's what I want to see, is more customization for both those things. Now, furthermore, he says this right here. More character customization options, hair, eyes, color, all that sort of stuff. We already went over car customization, more apartments and customization to them and the current ones. That's one thing that is currently kind of lacking when it comes to, of course, the other apartments beyond your vanilla apartment, I guess you would say, is you cannot go in there and decorate it further. I'd love to decorate the Japanese themed one. And of course the Glen penthouse that you have, man, getting in there and really decorating it would be so cool. Now we have this one right here, transmog. Of course, I think that's going to be happening. More clothing categories, more clothes, able to change clothing color. That would be cool. Ability to upgrade the rarity of clothing we own. I think this is a big one because a lot of people get these really cool clothing items earlier in the game and they want to keep it and they want to go back to it. And it would be cool to have an ability to go upgrade that to legendary and make it compete with later, I guess you would say, in-game armor and clothing options. Now, of course, we do want to see barbers still, tattoo parlors, plastic surgeons. I know that we can customize our character at the mirror, but I want to see like it fully fleshed out. More depth to Ripper Docks, which would be really, really cool. E3 content back in the game. Now, regarding that, I want to see the option. I don't think it was on display during E3, really. It would be so cool to see more parkour in this game. They kind of like teased some stuff related to that more recently with update 1.5. Now you can like hold on to beams and go from beam to beam. But I think maybe they've seen Dying Light 2 release and they're like, that's awesome. We want to do a little bit more of that in Cyberpunk. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that. Now, he also mentions this, which is cool. Vehicle dealer, like we saw in the game's cutscene after the life path intro. More depth to life paths. This stuff right here, I always tell you guys, I'd be very surprised if they dived into more depth to life paths. Then again, I always said they wouldn't touch romantic options at all, and they did. So maybe they can surprise us. Now, he goes on to mention like fleshed out police system, gang system, trauma team, max tech, that sort of thing, new game plus. So a lot of stuff that you guys want to see, and the list keeps going on and on and on. So please check out the list. It's really extensive. And by all means, add to this list by posting a comment down below. Let me know what you would like to see from the future of Cyberpunk. But guess what? It's time to go over your top comments. Remember to leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. But this is the video I did previously. Let's check it out right here. It is called CD Projekt RED begins work on new update, new official post by devs, and updated review. So yeah, it looks like they are updating the, I guess you would call it the back end of Cyberpunk through Steam. They're testing out something right now. They just keep going with this game, which gets me so excited. I've seen time and time again, too many big publishers say, sorry, we're cutting funding for your game. We're not going anywhere with it. So yeah, this gets me hyped for the future of Cyberpunk. But Phoenix goes on to say this. Patch 1.5 was a big step in the right direction. Looking forward to what else they have planned for Cyberpunk. 284 upvotes, by far the most upvoted, comment. A lot of you guys are very impressed with CD Projekt RED and the direction that they are taking right now. Now we have Wilton, who says the following: it'd be cool to see them implement a perk for light machine guns used to where you can dual wield 2 light machine guns. Oh man, going full-blown Rambo here. I would also like to see more done with bosses, mini bosses. This right here is something I meant to mention in my review of Cyberpunk. In my personal opinion, I think they need to improve the bosses and the mini bosses. I'm just going to say big time. That's my personal opinion, because a lot of it is running around, and I feel like there needs to be, how do I say, some sort of counter system in this game to where you can further stagger these opponents, these big opponents. There needs to be something to where you can kind of, and there are things in the game, don't get me wrong, but anyway, I think that needs to be improved. I'm going to say that. I agree. Now it says, like, added extra ones to the map, even out on the streets as sort of group leaders. That'd be awesome. And definitely do something more with the cars, give us more races, and perhaps a transmog system for the cars. Just like how they gave us perk to upgrade created stuff for clothes and weapons, maybe something similar for cars. Dude, car combat would be really cool. On top of that, fix the wanted system and police AI. Instead of police randomly popping up right where you are, actually show them pull up towards direction realistically and actually give us police chases. Totally agree. Callie says this: I'm so impressed with this game. I've been on console gaming for years, and this game has me hooked. I patiently waited for the PS5 patch, and I'm glad I did. Hell yes. Evan Allen says, I'm loving Cyberpunk, pretty much the game I wanted other than the police system. I'm pretty much completely happy with the game. Awesome, man. Then we have Jeffrey, who says, I love this game. It's everything I had hoped a Cyberpunk game would be. Look at the positivity here. It's so refreshing. Wow. I played the old sit-down, roll some dice RPG Cyberpunk in the early 90s, and this captures how I imagine it would be. A lot of the legends you hear about in the game are named from the old school source book. Nice. For me, this game is like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, Johnny Mnemonic. I just literally saw a clip from Johnny Mnemonic. But anyway, worlds all rolled into one. So freaking cool. Totally agree. And again, it's so good to see you all have such positivity towards the game. Let me just say, I know the game isn't perfect right now, but man, it's getting there closer and closer. And no game, in my opinion, is ever perfect or perfection. According to a lot of people, Elden Ring is, but let me know your opinion on that one. I've been enjoying the hell out of that one, by the way. But anyway, there it is. The latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, I'm going to go back and play this game, continue a lot of the side stuff in the game as well. I beat it again recently, but thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk news and updates, and I am actually going to keep you guys update with news about CD Projekt RED, any former CD Projekt RED developers and what they're doing, because they're just talented. That's all I got to say. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.